In the wake of the xenophobic attacks by South Africans on foreign nationals, including Nigerians, the federal government has attempted several actions to quell the altercations. On September 3rd, Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyeama summoned the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, Bobby Morrow, to explain the clashes. The Nigerian government also sent a special envoy to South Africa. Same day, high-level talks forced President Cyril Ramaphosa to condemn the attacks, making him the first South African official to recognize these assaults as xenophobic. On September 4th, Nigeria summoned her ambassador to South Africa, Kabiru Bala, to brief the presidency on the situation. President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, and Foreign Affairs Minister met on the issue. The Nigerian government also pulled out of the World Economic Forum taking place in Cape Town. On September 5th, the federal government, in collaboration with Air Peace, who had volunteered a free aircraft, set plans in motion to repatriate Nigerians who wished to return home. The South African Commission in Nigeria was closed down following mass protests and looting of South African businesses and concerns in Nigeria. How did government handle the SA crisis?
Shoddy, shabby, disappointing, disheartening. It's a sorry state of affairs. It seems as if we don't have a definitive foreign policy. And this is happening, and it has been happening time and time again. And it just can't go on anymore. That's why you're seeing reprisal attacks. And it's irresponsible of the Nigerian government not to take a much bolder step than what they're taking. It's a very sad time to be a Nigerian in the international community. It has to go beyond asking our ambassador or the High Commissioner to return to Nigeria to come and give us a briefing. We're not taking punitive steps, must be taken at this point in time. I will expect us to have jammed the signal of DSTV. I will expect us to be talking about the lines of nationalizing MTN. Take decisive actions. Let them scramble for cover. Let them start arresting those people who committed the crime, and let's see it on TV happening. We're treating the lives of our people with so much levity, and everybody is doing the same. Everywhere around the world. What crimes could Nigeria have committed in South Africa? The medical profession in South Africa, when it comes to expatriates, Nigeria probably has one of the highest quota amongst the African nations. So nurses. I schooled in South Africa, by the way, 18 years ago. I was an international scholar at the University of Pretoria. And I can tell you how this, it was a long time coming. It was brewing all the way. You were made to feel uncomfortable. You were called query.
To start with, the duty of every government is to see to the welfare of its citizenry. And I think when it comes to welfare, it comes with the safety of life and property of their citizens. It's expected that even before that attack, Nigerian government, particularly those in those foreign missions, supposed to understand and to know, to have a clip of what is about to happen and warn its citizenry. I said this with the fact that today in this world, it's more of intelligent gathering. The question is that what are the intelligence you have, particularly with this attack? Because whether we like it or not, such attack just don't come like it's born in the moment. Even if it should be, there must be some discussion, there must be some build-up before that. How many of Nigerian citizens have been warned about this attack? It is not about when it has happened, then the question is, let us recall the ambassadors, let us bring aircraft to move our people. Before it happened, Nigerian government needs to have a way of trying to communicate with its citizenship.
It's unfortunate that lives are being involved, but we need to strengthen our immigration. It's very important, because if we strengthen our immigration policies and our foreign policies, we will know who and who are in South Africa. That's the truth, because if we don't know who and who is going to South Africa, we might not be able to ascertain or defend the people that are in South Africa, Nigeria, that's because we need to know. And that is why we encourage our young people to stop crossing the Mediterranean and the Sahara Desert, all in the quest to go look for greener pasture. There's no greener pasture anywhere more than Nigeria.
Should the president address the nation following the attacks?
I don't really, maybe has delegated some people to do that, particularly, and again, we have to check this diaspora commission headed by Abika Badabiri. We need to know what are their functions and roles. Maybe that's one of the reasons. Yes, I think I've not heard the president say anything about it, which I believe issue, particularly this is an international issue, which I believe the president should have said that, should have said something about. But maybe he has his own reason, or maybe he has done that, or maybe he believes he needs to do the communication in the, maybe with private communication with Sri Ramaphosa, whatever it is. But for me, I would have want Nigerian government, Nigerian president himself to come out fully, all out, make a strong statement.
He doesn't speak when it's important for him to speak. And other African countries are taking a cue. We're being seen as a weakling country. Is this, I ponder, is this the same Nigeria that went to Liberia, that went to Somalia, that went to Sierra Leone? It is because of our exploits. You know, Sani Abacha Barracks in Abuja here was renamed Mogadishu Barracks. It's because of the exploits of our men in Somalia then, so that we won't forget what happened, their bravery. And we're just I'm not calling for an armed invasion of South Africa. It's not on that level. But we need to, be bold and be decisive about our foreign policy. And instead of just allowing our citizens to be killed, then it happens in Ghana, nobody's going to speak. The next thing you're going to say, did it not happen in Cameroon at some point in time? Everybody's taking the piss out of Nigeria. And we just seem as if we don't know what we're doing.
While the Nigerian government officially pulled out of the World Economic Forum, delegates such as former Education Minister Obi Ezekwesili and Emir of Kano Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, as well as Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai and Ekiti Governor Kayode Fayomi, who are well-known close associates of President Muhammadu Buhari, attended the event. Meanwhile, the presidency has announced that next month's state visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to South Africa will still hold. Some believe this trip is most needed now to calm the diplomatic tension between both countries. Also, the security agencies have been working to maintain law and order following the mass protests and looting of South African businesses in Nigeria. So far, 125 people have been arrested in connection with the looting and property worth millions recovered. However, the police have been criticized for using live rounds to disperse protesters, resulting in the death of one. All these actions by the government in tackling this present crisis have generated a lot of debate about the effectiveness of its efforts in ending xenophobic attacks on Nigerians living in South Africa, as well as other forms of discrimination against citizens abroad. What are your thoughts about Nigerian government's handling of the attacks in South Africa? Let us know in the comment section of this video. Rootstv, Nigeria.